Have you heard any news from the other parts of Skyrim? Well, I did hear that Ulfric Stormcloak was slain while defending Windhelm against a dragon. But it sounds too good to be true. I'll wager it was Ulfric himself that started the rumor. Maybe he thought it would bolster recruitment.
Have you heard any news from the other parts of Skyrim?
Have you visited Rorikstead lately? No matter how harsh the winter, the crops that grow there never falter. Even when every other farm in the hold is barely scraping by, the harvest at Rorikstead is always bountiful. Is it good fortune? The blessings of the divines? Who knows?
Have you heard any news from the other parts of Skyrim?
Well, I did see something interesting not long ago. There were several Khajiit camped outside the walls of Whiterun. Seems they've been traveling around the whole of Skyrim peddling their wares. You've got to admire their courage, doing something like that with dragons on the loose and a war going on.
Any news or gossip?
Now that I think on it, I did hear something rather interesting the other day. Apparently, the Red Wave has been docked in Solitude for well over a month, and with no sign of shipping out anytime soon. Some say the ship suffered damage to her hull when she struck an iceberg, and Captain Sofia can't afford the repairs. Of course, she would never admit such a thing. Captain Sofia is far too proud a woman for that.
Have you heard any interesting rumors lately?
Well, there might be nothing to it, but I've heard that the feud between the Greymanes and the Battleborns in Whiterun has grown ugly. Frollia Greymane is convinced that the Battleborns have abducted one of her sons.
Heard anything interesting lately? Any news or gossip?
I'm not sure that it's news, but lately it seems like every blacksmith in Skyrim is out to prove that he's the equal of Eorl and Greymane. It's not really a fair comparison if you ask me. After all, Eorlin works the Skyforge. How is any smith going to compete with that?
Have you heard any news from the other parts of Skyrim?
Well, I did hear that the Argonians have been banned from living inside the walls of Windhelm. They're only allowed on the city docks now. Most of them sleep together in one building, and they're as poor as wretches.
Heard any interesting gossip lately?
I heard those mages up in Winterhold have been trying to figure out how many dragons there are in Skyrim. They seem to think it's at least a dozen, but I'm sure they're exaggerating. They're probably trying to scare us into giving them more money and influence, so they can save us from the dragon's
The Empire
threat.
is fortunate to have the support of the Thalmor during this difficult time, don't you think?
Have
It's
you
only a
found it
matter of
difficult to get
time before
provisions
your
lately?
whole rotten
I can
empire
scarcely feed the
collapses
staff in
of
my
its
palace.
own decay.
We've had
No
the same
offense.
troubles.
Trust
With
me,
any luck,
there's no place
a worthy
better to
hero
forge
will step
relationships
forward
with the
and solve
movers
our
and
problems,
shakers of
just
Skyrim.
like in the tales of old.